folks, it's an honor and a treat for us to have Dave Remington on the show with us. Dave, good morning, big bro. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys.
Good to hear, man. Hey, how was the travels in from New York?
Well, we were here on Tuesday night. We got in about 10 o'clock from New York, flew from LaGuardia. We missed all the mess yesterday, so yeah, we were no problem. We got on time, so it was pretty good.
Good to hear. Good to hear, folks. We have Nebraska former center, all world, all American. He's like, oh, gosh, stop.
Please stop.
I just got the other hand going, a little bit more.
Hey, Dave, before I get into the award, the Remington Award that'll take place on Saturday night at the Rococo Theater here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Doors open at 6:30, and the award is given to the nation's top center in college football. It is the Heisman Trophy for offensive linemen. It's an amazing award. It started back in 2000 with Nebraska's very own Dominic Raiola being the first winner of that award. But, Dave, before we get into that, bro, man, you look like you can play tight end now.
I'm trying. I had to get my knees replaced, and the doctors, my surgeon said he wasn't going to let me get it done if I kept. I was weighing around 350, and I said, well, let me lose some weight, and here I am. I've kept it off, which is good. The thing is, once you can walk and you don't have the pain, I just started doing a walking regimen, just like I'm an old guy, so I just walk around the neighborhood, walk about 2.5 miles a day, and then I've been able to keep the weight off. So it just got to a point where I couldn't hardly do anything because I just, the pain in my knees were so bad. So, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm not going to win any races, that's for sure. And my playing days are over. So I'm just trying to, now in the longevity phase, I'm just trying to extend my place here on earth as long as I can.
You know what, Dave? We on our show, Jeff and Nicole Essink, and you see me post a lot of pictures about Farrell's extreme body shaping, and the owner, but they're both co-owners, husband and wife, but Jeff Essink is a huge Nebraska fan. In fact, I don't even know if Jeff was born when we were playing. I mean, he might have been a little kid back in that time, but he has a gym, and there's a lot of people. It's a
I see you. I follow you on Instagram.
Yes.
I see your photos where you and Raff are both training and stuff.
Absolutely. And Jeff and Nicole this week, it goes through every 10 weeks, new people. We and Raff have been going for years, but there's people who start every 10 weeks a new class through it. Would be some word of advice you would give those folks? There are 4 days in. Now, you said you were how much, Dave? 350?
350.
350.
That's probably on a good day too. I was getting up there, and I was like, I just looked at it too. I said, there's not a lot of 60-some-year-old guys who weighing 350. I'm time to get serious about this, and I just buckled down and started dieting and exercising. Unfortunately, I can't lift like I used to because my shoulders just can't take the weight. But I can do the diet end of it as good as I can, and then the walking, just getting out there, moving. After you get in the 60s, I think you just got to keep mobile and keep moving, and make that a lifestyle choice. So, if I had any words of advice, is just you get yourself armed for success. You learn as much as you can, and you're going to have up days and down days, and you just got to keep persevering and pushing yourself through. You got to get the workouts in. And some days, like everybody, even the greatest athletes in the world, some days you just don't want to do it. But if you're serious about it and you want to make the change, if you're really serious about making that change, you gotta do things that nobody else is willing to do, and that's just put in the work. So you got to just keep doing it. And like I said, good days, bad days, it doesn't matter. You got to just put the work in.
You bet. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, Dave, I've got to ask you, I was thinking about this actually last night and this morning. I kind of live vicariously through your Instagram because you travel a ton. Where would be like maybe your top 3 places that you've ever been? I know that's going to be hard, but maybe a few that kind of stick out.
I really like New Zealand. Milford Sound in New Zealand is one of my favorite places. Cape Town, South Africa is beautiful. It reminds me a lot of San Francisco. It's just back in the day, San Francisco, not like it is right now, but back in the day, it's very beautiful. Antarctica was a place that was eye-opening because it was like going in another world. There's so many great places. And I tell you what, I did on a national park tour this summer. I was going down, I went to New York, to the West Coast, and I went to Burning Man and did what I typically do, but I drove instead of flew. And I just, to Utah, the Big Five in Utah, the national parks, outstanding. And I can see why we have so many environmentalists and climate people, because I tell you, go there and it's so pristine, and it's really, it's like the family jewels of this country is the national park system. And going out there and seeing the beauty, and it just puts a big old smile on your face, because you're seeing stuff. You're like, wow, I was by myself the whole time, and I intermixed going to the national parks, the campgrounds there, and I was doing boondocking at Walmarts and the Cracker Barrels and places like that. I just pull over the rest area, stop there. I mean, I did it as cheap as I can, but I still, because of the gas prices at that time, it was tremendously expensive going through, because I went through out of Yosemite. I went up in Yosemite National Park, coming out of there, going into the desert. And it was like, I paid like $9.29 a gallon for diesel. I was like,
oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never seen it. They kind of got you. There's nothing you can do. You're going into the desert. It's the last stop before you go into the desert. And I can be cheap, or I can be safe, and I'll just fill it up and take the hit. But the whole thing is great. The Burning Man thing was great. Just seeing the country as much as I have, I've been very, very lucky. And I hope to continue to be able to travel. I've got a trip planned in April that I'll be going over a transatlantic cruise over to Rome, and I'll do probably spend some time in Florence. And I'm looking to do that for maybe a week or two after I land, and it would be about 15 days to get over there, and then about another week or two in Italy. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's about all I got planned for this year. Unfortunately, my kids are at the point where I got to be, I need to be locked in a little bit more at home. So,
Dave,
I love them and everything, but it's at the point where you got to make sure these guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing too.
Where's Dad? Alaska.
He's gone.
Dave, let me ask you this: how much easier has it been for you to travel since you've lost the weight?
Oh, it's a lot easier. I was always conscious of like a flying economy, because it wasn't that I couldn't fit in the seat, but I felt like I was engulfing the next person. You know what I mean? I was like, this ain't fair to this dude. I'm sitting next to him all over in his lap. It makes it easier. You don't get to stare down like, as you walk down the aisle, you don't get the walk of shame where people are looking at you and you're just right in the deck. You're going to sit right next to them.
Right.
Like, you can see the relief in their faces as you walk by. No, I don't get that anymore. So that's good.
Raff teens understand that feeling.
It's like, it's fat shaming what it is, but let's be honest. But,
I always think about it's like
I don't
Forrest
have to
Gump.
deal with that anymore so far. So, knock on wood, I'll keep the weight off.
I love it.
The old Forrest Gump walk when he's walking through the bus.
Yeah.
This seat's taken.
and it's like when you go to, I went to Devil's Tower because I drove 90 across South Dakota to Wyoming. And so I went to Devil's Tower and I was amazed. I walked all the way around the tower, that mountain thing. And I would have never, ever done that in the past. I mean, I'd be one of those things where I'd walk up, take a few shots, and I always got some pretty good shots of stuff, but I would never explore. And now with the weight off, I'm able to explore, and that just makes traveling and hiking. And because I tell you, there's a former Husker, Mitch Crank, who I just envy him, because he goes to the national parks and he was climbing, doing all this stuff, and so I was like, dang, I can do this now. So it was kind of eye opening. That was cool. I enjoy nature. I enjoy being out. I've lived in New York City for 20 years, and I'm in Long Island. So anytime I can get and enjoy nature, man, it's just like it's like sunshine all the time, and it just kind of lightens up your mood and everything else, and it's just a great release.
Awesome.
Dave, a lot of people don't know that you are an amazing photographer as well. In fact, Dave, you don't know this, big bro, but when I over the years, just watching the pictures that you capture, and they're just amazing. I mean, just some that are on the concrete. It's just up of a building, of a tree, or something like that. When did your affection for photography kick in?
Well, when I started with the foundation, there were 2 or 3 people there, so I had to learn a lot of Photoshop stuff like that. How to, I just learned to do it. I was kind of self-sufficient. I had to take some of the photos, how to do the Photoshop. So after a while, I got fairly good at it. And then we had some photo equipment, some big cameras. I could just borrow them and take some shots around. I used to drive my bicycle from my place in Harlem down to 37th, and I'd go through Central Park, and I'd stop at the same spot all the time, and I'd take the shot. I'd take the shot every day, and I'd get different weather conditions with clouds. A lot of times when you're doing landscapes, it's you look at the upper third with the clouds. If you got clouds, you got a good chance, if it's a fairly clear day, that you're going to get a good shot. And a lot of people don't recognize that. There's a lot of times where you go out and it's just dull. There's not much you can do with that photo. You could probably turn it into a black and white, but it's, clouds just make the whole thing, really. I'm just telling you. And I would take that shot every day, and I got pretty good at that thing. And then I'd go to move to other things, and I just loved it. I think I've got a creative side that I didn't really know existed until I got into the Photoshop stuff and the photography stuff. And it was a great excuse to get outside and take shots and move around a little bit. So I would get off my bike and explore a little bit and look for waterfalls. They have the little falls. I wouldn't call them waterfalls, but they have small falls in Central Park, right where I lived in the Harlem area, in the Harlem near area, in the northern part of Central Park. So I just enjoyed it. I said, I can create some stuff. And after a while, people would ask me to take the picture. And every time I went on a trip, like I went to Antarctica, I got some decent shots of icebergs and penguins and things like that. And it's just, I think it's a great, if you like to travel, man, you should learn to take some, to do the photography part of it. It's just a great way to remember stuff too. Especially when you're an old football player, you forget, you can't remember your combination. I mean, you got pictures of everything. So it's just a great way to kind of remember where you've been and where you've done, the things that you saw. And when you put it all together and you get a couple months of stuff, it's like, wow, I've been to a lot of places and I take a lot of shots. So, you can get to a point when in your life, you're like, well, I don't know how long I'm going to be around. I want to go see stuff and do stuff and just enjoy it as much as I can. And that's basically what I've been doing.
Dave, you got an amazing picture that you took on your Instagram, December 17th in Yosemite Park. That picture is insane, bro. That looks like a painting.
What is it?
Yosemite National Park. It's like just a mountain range, trees and everything else.
Yeah, that's like with, I was going through, there was one where it's going through the tunnel, and you go through the tunnel and there's Half Dome and there's all these formations, granite mountains, and it was just beautiful. I mean, I'm telling you what, the whole time I was doing park, I could not believe the beauty at these places. And you'd have to go there and you're just like, wow. I'd shake my head. I was like, man, I'm so lucky to be able to do this.
Right.
Awesome. And I just try to take advantage of whatever opportunities I get to do stuff, to do different stuff that most people don't want to do, like the Burning Man thing.
Yeah.
I get friends of mine going, why in the world would you want to go sit in the desert, in the hot desert for, 7 days? But they don't understand that it's not the crazy parties. I'm much too old for that, but I do like all the art installations. There's so much art in the Burning Man thing, and the things that they build, the temples, and all the man itself. There's so many opportunities, and you get to learn. Okay, every morning I get at 5 o'clock in the morning to get sunrise shots, and then and sunset shots. Not so good because of the mountains back there. They go pretty fast, but it is that thing. I've been going. This was like my 7th time to Burning Man.
Wow!
Why in the world? They think I'm some kind of like party mushroom guy or something. I'm like, no, man.
Party mushroom
If
guy.
I was a drug guy, I'd have been dead long.
Yeah. We're taking it back to the 70s, man.
They got people stumbling, fumbling, and bumbling around, Burning Man. I guarantee you, people that stay up all night and they're partying and doing their thing. But I have nothing. I'm as pretty lame as you can be when you get there, but I just love taking the shots. And there's so much stuff. And the people themselves are worthy of taking photos if they allow it. Some people get all bent out of shape.
Dave,
They're walking around half nude. You're like, well, you shouldn't take a picture of me. You shouldn't be walking around half nude.